What's up, guys? This is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about personal development for INFJs and how to create an epic life on your terms. Today we're talking about INFJ darkness and how to use your INFJ dark side. There are articles on this topic, a lot of videos, because it's something that we know we have deep inside of us, but we don't really want to utilize. If it was something we lived out all the time, this wouldn't even be that interesting, and maybe people would think INFJs are big bullies. But that's not the case, right? Most people think of INFJs as holistic healers, as visionaries, as helpers and consultants, people who want to make the world better and who want to create harmony. But the fact is that we are human. The fact is that we do have that darkness inside of us. And as long as we keep that part in us hidden, we're also not allowing our potential to fully shine. So today I want to talk to you how to use that darkness, how to embrace it, how to become friends with it, and to understand that it also brings a lot of positive aspects with it. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to take the next step in creating your INFJ Epic Life, then check out the INFJ Epic Life Masterclass. It's a final sale because I'm discontinuing by the end of January in order to focus on bootcamp and coaching. So check it out. This is really the best offer you'll ever get on this product. And it's the last one. So I wanted to talk about INFJ darkness because it's been something that every time I encounter people are holding back, I at that moment always feel like, why are you not fighting for yourself? Why are you not allowing this part of you to come out? And the reason why I'm actually so passionate about this is because I myself has struggled with this for so long. And still, if I have any kind of emotional reaction to this, it's of course because in a way I may be not allowing my darkness to actually be a complete part of me. So the first time I recognized I needed to change that aspect within me, I was actually pushed to the corner. I had no other choice and I had to fight back. And I remember at that time talking to somebody that I respect very much, that's a lot older than me, that has a lot of experience in personal development. And she said to me, sometimes in this world, you have to bite back. And it might be just a little saying that you hear and you say, okay, so what? This changed my life because up until this point, I really went through life thinking there is no reason for me to be bad in any kind of capacity. I don't ever want to be the person who others could call disloyal, selfish, mean, whatever they might come up with. Because in the end, if they really would think that, most of the time, I would think that about myself as well. And I couldn't handle that. And so I recognized with time that the reason why I couldn't handle it, and this is also something I encounter while talking with a lot of INFJs, is they don't want to be considered a bad person by somebody else. So very often they take on the role of somebody who wants to create a great outcome for everybody. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it if the other person is on the same page. See, if you look at all the literature when it comes to really positive communication and creating the best results for two parties, it's always about you have to take on 100% of the responsibility and so has to the other person. So you both look at the situation in a way of how can we solve this? How can we get this to a point where we're both right, where we both recognize that we need to change something about ourselves and we take complete responsibility for everything that happened. If both parties are on the same page with this, you will have amazing results, you move forward and everything's great. But the reality is that most people cannot do this. They're not stable enough to do this. They have some kind of trauma they went through. And in certain situations, we will be in that situation as well. But in that case where you feel like I'm actually trying to find a common ground here, I'm not acting on my behalf. I'm acting on behalf of what would be good for this dynamic. You have to have a counterpart who does it the same way. And most of the time, I would probably say over 90% of the time, this is not the case. So what do most INFJs do? They say, I want to be the bigger person here. So I will stay in this positive attitude where I want the best for both of us. But what you neglect at that moment is that that person is first off only looking at their benefit, probably because they're not able to look beyond that. And second of all, you have to be aware that in most cases, you're actually favoring how the other person feels over your own feelings. You are more concerned with, are they being heard? Are they way being seen? Is their way of looking at the situation a good one? These are the things that are much easier for us to grasp than how we feel about ourselves. It would be much easier if you look at the situation from the outside, right? You have two people, and then you can honestly have a good understanding of that's good for that one person, that's good for the other person, let's find a compromise. But INFJs very often are not able to do this. We have to understand how our cognitive functions work. And if we're not careful, if we're not actively making choices that benefit our growth, we will always be focusing on how does the other person feel about the situation, and even more, how does that other person feel about me? How often have you been in a situation where you said, I don't care if that person thinks I'm mean, I don't care if that person thinks I'm disloyal, and you honestly feel like I want to show up in the way that is beneficial for me, and if they think, oh, she's a bad person, she just thinks about herself, or he's only out for his own good, you would be okay with that. Most INFJs have a problem with this. And again, the reason for this is because we base our self-value on how that person sees us. But in order to get from where we are right now to where we want to be, which is that we actually are our best advocate. As most of you probably know, I have an economics background, so I mastered in economics and finance, and there's this thing called Pareto optimum. So if you're in a situation where you have any kind of difficulty with another person, for example, you can't make them understand your viewpoint, or you tried your best and you feel like they're just using you, or you're trying to help them and it's not being reciprocated, actually they even want to fight back and want to put you down because they feel like you're not taking them seriously, whatever it is. If you're in a situation like this and you try to be a person who takes responsibility for 100% of the problem, expecting that the other person is going to do the same, and they cannot, then it's super important that you utilize your dark side. See, I always say, once you start utilizing that part of you, you see that this is actually part of your personality. You start using it on a daily basis, and it doesn't come out like something harsh or something that would hurt other people, because it's just part of your power. You just become more of yourself. Because every single time you numb out this dark side of yours, you're also numbing out your inner power. You're numbing out your force. You're numbing out your motivation to push forward in life for yourself. And most INFJs have a codependent tendencies. I know I do. And this isn't something that I'm hiding. It's not something that I don't want to accept. I know this about myself, so I know that I have to counteract. Because being codependent in that situation pretty much means asking the other person, please just don't keep hitting me, or don't keep kicking me, or whatever it is, probably on a psychological level. I'm just trying to help you. I'm being the bigger person here, see? I'm not fighting back. I want us to find a great solution. We might think that reason for this is because we are actually in power. But how long are you going to stay in power for? If you've ever been in a situation where you took this to the far end, and I know I have, you will recognize no matter how powerful you are, no matter how strong you are, you will lose more and more energy out of this. Nothing will change. The person will not recognize that they're fighting against somebody who's just too good for this, who doesn't want to fight. They will not stop. The only way the other person can stop and even maybe understand your perspective is if you start advocating for it. If you say, if you think I'm a bad person, I'm okay with that because I know that I'm in the right here. One of the reasons why this is so hard for us is because we have been conditioned all our life, the way we're set up, the way we grow up, and how our functions develop with time, that the best way for us to have success in life is to focus on other people's emotional state. What do they want? How do they want to live their life? How can I help them? So of course, with that being said, your own personal value is based on what that person thinks of you. Don't neglect this. Don't think of, oh, but I'm so strong. That's not the case. I'm just bigger than this. Well, if you were bigger than this, then you wouldn't be trying to convince the other person of your opinion. You would be okay with them thinking whatever it is. We have to get to a point where we know that what we do is correct because we've tried, that person doesn't get it, and that person won't get it if you give give them even more and even more. If they don't get it when you give 50% or you give 100% and the other person should give 100, if they don't understand it at that moment, they will never get it. And in order to actually be okay with our dark side, which includes that you say, my well-being is most important here, because yes, in the great scheme of things, let's find a compromise, but you're fighting for yourself, so I have to be my own advocate. So this is fair. Just because it doesn't feel like it doesn't mean that this isn't right. You are a human being like everybody else. You're not something special in a way of, oh, I need to be the bigger person or I have the power to do different things. This actually coming from a place from backing out of life. We have to be the ones who say, I have to change my behavior first. I have to utilize my dark side. I have to be okay with whatever that person thinks of me. Because only when I'm okay with this, only when I first accept this pain, only when I first feel like I will survive this, that people think I'm a bad person, then you can get to a point where you say, okay, now I'm going to focus on what I want to think about myself. It doesn't work the other way around, because if you're still in this mindset of, I need to prove that I'm a good person in order to be loved, in order to be respected, you will always have those dynamics. And they are so corresponding to this dark side. You have to have the dark side in order to overcome this. And every single time you're in a position where you say, I will act in a way where nobody can say I'm a bad person. Whoever I meet will see that I'm trying my best to be a good person, that I'm always considerate of others. There's no way you could interpret anything I do as bad. That transformation is extremely painful, but extremely necessary, because it's never just about that one person. You feel like if you bring out that dark side, if people see actually what you're capable of, how much you could actually fight for yourself and neglect the other person, ignore the other person, being a person who's only focused on their own well-being, it's not going to be just that person who dislikes you. It's going to be everybody. Because the way we've been conditioned and the way we've conditioned ourselves is, I am lovable for what I can do for others, for how I can understand others, for how considerate I am, for how much harmony I create for others, that I want to help others and see them win. If that is what you're basing your self-worth on, it's always going to get back to that point that you feel like there's a dark side in me and I'm not bringing it out. It's time you bring it out. You know that it's within you. And trust me, there is an end to it. I know so many of us are afraid once I bring this out, there will be no end to it. It will be so dark. It will be so horrible. I will actually really destroy the other person. You won't. Don't worry about it. Like, just let it out because you deserve it. That doesn't mean that you'll commit a crime. You will see that the dark side that you keep hidden, that you feel like is too much for the world to handle, is just your way of loving yourself. It's just your way of fighting for yourself. It's just your way of standing up for yourself. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But before we are okay with it, we have to also go in the direction of, I'm going to do something that makes me very uncomfortable, because then I'm going to get judged. I'm never going to be that person again who's being liked because of what he or she can do for me. I'm never going to be that person who's just not causing problems and therefore I'm protected. The moment you utilize your dark side, you will be on your own in many ways. You will be responsible to be the leading force in your life. You won't be able to be a sidekick anymore. And that is a huge transformation. But therein lies your power. As I said before, it's time we stop thinking, please stop kicking me anymore. I can handle it anyways, no matter what you do. I'm bigger than this. I want complete harmony. We have to get to a point where we can say, if you keep on, metaphorically speaking, kicking me, trust me, I will kick back. Trust me, you will not like that side of me. You will see my dark side and you'll see that I'm not somebody to be messed with. You have that power within you. That is your protective instinct. And you have to first make that step before you believe that you're worthy of it. But think of it from a rational standpoint. You are worthy of it. Your dark side, once you let it out, it's not just being mean. It's not just being hurtful towards others. It's first off, yes, creating a boundary and understanding, like, leave me alone. You are not allowed to do this. But at the same time, it opens up up this energy vessel that then allows you to push forward and to be your best advocate when it comes to creating that INFJ epic life. Utilize your dark side. It's not a bad thing. It's part of who you are. Even Carl Jung said it. We need to embrace this part of us. We're all of it. And every single time we deny a part of us, we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to be the next best version of ourselves. The moment I started utilizing my darkness, I was also able to be way more giving. I was able to be way more selfless. I was able to really stand up and not do things thinking of, oh, okay, I'm doing this so people like me, but I did that because I really had stuff to give and I really didn't need people's appreciation for it. I did it because I knew that I have enough power to sustain myself and others. Your INFJ darkness is a gift. Don't neglect it. Love it, embrace it, use it, and overcome all the pain that it brings once you allow yourself to utilize it to the fullest. I really hope that inspired you and helped you to take the next step. INFJ darkness is a great thing. It's part of who we are. No need to hide it. Remember, if you want to take the next step in creating your INFJ epic life, then check out the Epic Life Masterclass. We have an amazing offer out right now because it's the final sale. And if you want to watch another video now that is in line with today's topic, then watch the video on INFJ, the True Alpha. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time.